Welcome back to the Gentleman Ultras YouTube channel. I'm Richard Hall as always with the morning paper reviews, and we'll start with Gazzetta this morning. Inter, it means 19. So it looks as though it's about to be Inter's 19th title this weekend, especially if they beat Crotone, and then we see other results elsewhere, which means that Inter will go on to become champions. It says that Steven Zhang from Sunning is in Milan at the moment, and he embraces Conte to make a Scudetto speech. It's a final push for history. Our coach is a work of art, he says. It's a 19th title if they win at Crotone, and Atalanta, of course, don't get the victory, which is really going to be a huge thing for Inter. But there is more behind this, and we keep having to touch on this. There needs to be a decisive element of the ownership being decided, because if it's not, will Conte want to work with what he's got left? They need to back him in the summer. They need to be able to get off. They don't have to make major signings, but they need to be able to, at least, if in Conte's eyes and in Morata's eyes, try and compete with Juventus, who they still see as having the better squad. So that's really important. That's key. Here we also have Conte, my work of art. That's in Corriere dello Sport. They very much talking about the fact that another ex-Juventus man like Trapattoni could go into history with Inter. And he says, Inter at Crotone to complete the masterpiece. It's a Scudetto if they win tomorrow, and if Gasparini doesn't beat Sassuolo. It says the coach prepares a party. Ending the season with the title will be extraordinary. I transmitted my vision to the team. He had his first meeting with Zhang yesterday about the new situation, and so far, so good. It looks as though Eriksen's not going to play, just a side note today, and that Sensi could be on the pitch. And finally, we look into Tuttosport, and again it says here, a little low-key in Turin, excuse me, it says, match point Inter, goes on to talk about the whole situation with Crotone, Atalanta, Sassuolo, and again, Conte saying that their season is a work of art. He's very much playing this line at the moment, that he's done miracles with this squad that isn't as strong as Napoli, that isn't as strong as Juventus, and that he sees he's performed fantastically well, and therefore he needs more backing to move on. There's also talk here about where are we now? About Milan. Pioli in the Champions League turning point with faithful regulars. It says here that it's really important now for Milan to go and get this Champions League place, even though all the papers now, which wasn't the case earlier in the week, saying that they're all going to back Pioli. It says Milan and Pipo here, everything up for grabs. Certainly is for that game, but you would expect Milan to win. So again, we are also, well, we say one more thing to add on that. Ibrahimovic back for Milan, so that's even more crucial for them. Lots to talk here about Luis Suarez, the video, the Italian lessons, etc., etc. Tuttosport published the video of the fast test in Perugia that lasted 15 minutes. Suarez, baby brings watermelon. It's ridiculous, really. It goes in Corriere dello Sport. Suarez, the video of the fast exam, the camera was installed in the hall, and again, it's been seen. Gazzetta not as prominent with that, so it's there though still. What of Juventus, which we always have to touch base about, of course. Well, we've got here that there's light at the end of the tunnel in Gazzetta dello Sport, saying that CR7 with Morata potentially, but then again it says, look, it's got to be Allegri now for next season. It looks increasingly like that's going to happen, because Pirlo hasn't produced what they're supposed to have done. You know, they're supposed to be domestically challenging every season, and when I say challenging, I'm not even challenging, winning every season. And Pirlo, I just don't think, with the way the football's been, the way Juventus have been, it's just not been satisfactory. Obviously Allegri, huge favourites. I think now with it's almost Allegri coming back's a strange one, because it isn't obviously an obvious one, but it's also strange because it was all that talk originally about, okay, Juventus changing the brand, looking to almost push through the Super League, of course, buying Ronaldo, changing the badge, doing all these different elements to it, which is all fine, and trying to get to this element, but then the Super League doesn't work. Ronaldo's not quite working this season. It's sort of falling off. They tried Sarri, it didn't work as well. He wasn't the right image, and for me, Allegri coming back is almost Juventus rediscovering themselves. And that's massive for Juventus, because I think that it just probably went a little too far. They're obviously advancing and modernising and showing in Italian clubs the right way to go. I think when you look at Inter, I think they followed suit with Juventus. I think definitely they followed to try and rebrand, restructure, reorganise. So these are all good things. I just think with Juventus it went a little too far and said, listen, we have to play amazing football. We have to play, we just win in incredible style. Actually, all that really matters is winning, and Juventus know that. That's part of their motto. It's not, winning's not the only thing. It's the only thing that counts. And so, for me, it's interesting to see this now, them changing back to Allegri, because it does feel like an admission that, we had it pretty good. Let's have a look. Tutto Sport, still on Juve here. I'm staying, and Gigio Donnarumma could be joining him. So the Gioia has decided he's going to stay in Juve, with or without a contract renewal. He believes in the project. And it says there's another meeting now in Milan for Donnarumma, whose contract is running down. It's certainly possible that will change. It's excuse me. It's certainly something that looks like Donnarumma I'm talking about now really starts to look like he could be heading to Juventus. I still cannot believe that they would let Szczesny go. I think Szczesny's one of the most elite goalkeepers in Europe, and anyone who can pick him up at the end of the season, if Donnarumma that is, means if he goes to Man, will be a winner in my eyes. Not that means much. Let's have a look. There is one story here in Corriere dello Sport that talks about the fact that Italian sport in general, we've heard about this quite a lot this week, is at risk of default, and they requested a 1.5 billion loan from the government because a lot of smaller clubs and big clubs in some respects really struggling after the pandemic. So it's going to be interesting today. We'll see if Inter can actually grab this title and pull it over the line. And that's the headlines from me, and ciao for now.